Thinking of traveling Europe by train with kids, well, it's magical, but it can also be really chaotic if you are not well prepared. From sleeper cabins to snack hats, here's what every parent needs to know before hopping on the train. And since it's almost summertime and lots of families are going to be out there traveling and starting to vacation or holiday, then this is the perfect time. And we also just got back from a train trip. So, I'm going to go through them and just count them as like number one, number two, number three, number four, number five. So number one is like pack snacks and waters. Unless you've booked a train that specifically is giving you a meal, there is no food. So you need to come with snacks, especially with little kids, and drinks. Usually they have the little metal trash bins with some plastic bags in them that you can discard your waste into, but definitely pack snacks and water, because on most trains there is not going to be a meal. So number two, children often travel for free, and especially if they are under 6, and sometimes if they're under 12. It's going to depend on that specific country and that railway I guess that policy. So check ahead, because if they're not free, then they're going to definitely be traveling at a discounted rate. We have yet to pay a full fare in any country for any of our kids. So it's going to either be free or discounted for 6 and under, or 12 and under. Again, check ahead of time. But it'll also tell you on the discount on the checkout webpage. So number 3, there's the Eurorail pass, which goes through like most all of Europe, and kids 100% under the age of 12 will travel for free. Now, there is a catch here. If you are going to be traveling through multiple countries and just like multiple trains, this is an excellent method for your family to use. If you are not going to be traveling that often and that much by trains, then this is probably not going to be your best bet, because it is a little pricey from what we've seen in our experience. It is worth it if you're traveling frequently by train, but if you are not, you might want to look at just a single pass for the times that you are traveling. And so just weigh the pros and cons, but the Eurorail is a good option. It's just going to depend on what your schedule is going to look like. So number 4 is most trains are stroller friendly and small luggage friendly. Most of the time, as soon as you jump on the train, like as soon as you walk in that door, there are these little metal stands, and they're for your luggage, and you can put your luggage there. Just keep an eye on them while you're on the train so that nobody snags them, because when people are walking off the train, it's very easily to just pick up someone's bag and just jump off the train there, and you won't know. But if you don't like that option and you have small enough luggages that will fit, usually they have the like the overhead storage bins on the airplanes. It's pretty similar there on the trains. They have overhead small little like open bins that you can put your luggage on, and it'll work fine. Or most of the time between the seats, if they're like the seats that are like facing back to back, there's like a little bit of storage space in the middle on the floor, and sometimes your bags can fit there too. Again, gonna depend on the train layout, but there are a few options there. They have accommodations for your bags and stroller friendly, because again, most Europeans are also traveling by train, so they've pretty much thought this ahead and through. So tip number 5, some routes, especially, not limited to, but especially France, Germany, and Switzerland, are very family friendly oriented trains. They have what they call either family areas or kid areas, and they're like family zones where families that are traveling with little kids, they all kind of get put together, and they have like a little like padded play area on most of the things that kids can kind of like get out. It's just a family zone. Like, there's going to be kids around there. So those are great options. Utilize them and use those areas when you're traveling with kids, if your train offers that. We were just on a train in Romania, and I didn't see that option, but we definitely saw that when we were in France. So number 6, sleeper cabins. You can get trains that you can sleep overnight. I'm sure most people have heard of those. So something to be said for those. You're going to get a meal. They're going to be tight spaces. Like it's not like a hotel room. I mean, you're sleeping on the train, but it's going to be tight quarters temporarily. Like it's not going to be a very spacious area, and you need to just kind of know that going into it and kind of plan accordingly. Also, not all of them are super comfortable. They're not all going to be made the same, and some of them are really uncomfortable beds, and some of them are better quality, a little better comfort. But just kind of know that going in, it's a great option. It can save you money, but not all of them are made the same. They're not all super comfortable, and they're going to be tight areas. But if you're going to be just really like sleeping 8-9 hours at the time, 6 to 8 hours, then it might not be that big of a deal. And I think it's a great choice. And I'm totally for sleeping on a train. So it's just an affordable option and a really cool, unique experience to create a memory with your families of like, remember that one time we went from here to here and we all slept on the train together? That's just pretty cool. And it gives you a little a safe zone because you have a private door. Most of them, you have like a shared bathroom, depending on what you get. So it's going to depend on the type of sleeper train that you get, depending on how your bathroom's set up and the beds. So just keeping that in mind is also like do your due diligence and do some research because they are quite a different options. And so it's kind of tricky to like figure out what you're actually getting and which option. So number 7 is that larger railway stations, they can be quite chaotic. I mean, I'm talking definitely in London and in France and many of the other like large ones, not Romania, even in Bucharest, not that, but like some of the other really, really large ones, it can be quite complex and confusing to figure out where you need to go, keeping in mind that you don't speak the same language, keeping in mind that you need to not only figure out what platform you have to go to, but what line on the platform, and then you have to figure out what train in that line is your wagon car, which one that is. And sometimes usually they'll have it like printed on the window, like with a piece of paper that says like, it'll say car 3. But sometimes in our experience, like in France, it was difficult. Like it was not clear instructions. We didn't quite get anything. Nobody was like super helpful. They kind of were like, if we asked a question, it was like we were bothering them. And they didn't have it clearly when our experience. It's just maybe it was just that one time. I don't know. But it was difficult. So like arrive a little early so that you know what platform, you then know what line, and then you've got to take some time with all your kids and all your luggage, figure out which line. There's a little bit of like back and forth of like, is this the right car? Is this the right car? Is this the right car? So just make sure you get on the right car and stop and ask if you need to. Somebody will eventually help you if you cannot figure it out on your own. That is something that we've had to do multiple times, especially when you cannot find someone that works there. We just start asking people and eventually we get to the right car. So just keeping that in mind, that it's not just like the train station. There's like multiple steps, like platform, car, train, like the wagon, the car. So you got to get on the right ones. So keeping that in mind. Also, number 8, not all trains are going to have Wi-Fi and power outlets. Most of the trains do not have Wi-Fi that we've been on, and some do. Sometimes you have to pay extra in your tickets to get the free Wi-Fi. And then power adapters. Sometimes you can just like plug in the USB, and like other ones, like in Romania, you cannot. You have to have the full outlet, the full like actual like power outlet to plug into the train wall, which means for us, we needed to also have a power adapter because our chargers are US standard. They are not from here. So not only that, bring your full outlet, bring your actual power adapter so that you are not stuck with a dead phone or dead electronics or whatever it might be. Just keeping that in mind that they're all going to look different, and just have that. It doesn't take up much space in your suitcase. Just don't forget that, because not having your power adapter, because lots of hotels, you don't need the power adapter. You just need the USB cord. But we've run into several places recently that that's not the case, and you actually need the entire adapter. So bring that adapter with you. It's not going to take up any extra space. Just bring it. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So number 9, bring activities for kids and motion sickness medicine, whatever that looks like. Gum, lollipops, like there's little like tummy drops that we get that are like menthol and ginger, whatever it needs to be. Maybe it's Dramamine, whatever. Bring your motion sickness stuff and bring activities. And I'm talking activities that are not just electronics. Electronics are great. We can use them. We personally do not like to just rely on those, especially if you don't know if you're going to get great Wi-Fi service, because the last train ride, ours was in and out consistently. And that's more frustrating for kids when they're trying to do something or watch something and the Wi-Fi keeps going out and their show keeps stopping, and it just causes frustration. So have some backups or some ones that you go to first. So sticker books, regular books, your iPad, Rubik's Cube, coloring, small little toys that you can play with your hands, like little like action figures and stuff. Maybe it's going to be a puzzle that you can use if you have a table, small puzzles. And instead of bringing the cardboard box, throw them in a Ziploc bag so that they don't take up as much space. But lots of little hands-on toys. Between that, your electronics and snacks, like that is just what you need to do. Maybe you need to like walk up and down the aisle once or twice, but I'm sure you will be fine with all of these. Number 10, check to make sure that you do not have multiple train transfers. If you do, not a problem, but just keeping in mind of like when you need to get off and at what stop. And then you need to figure out, okay, what platform am I on? You got to go through the whole kit and caboodle again of like what platform, what line, where am I, how do I get there? That was sort of a mess when we were in England. We did figure it out because they have a great system set up, but it took some practice and it took some days for us in England to figure out the train transfer situation. But it's probably going to say on your ticket. It should tell you if you have a train transfer or not. And if you're unsure, again, just check and ask before you get on the train and before you get off the train if you are unsure. Like, just check. I mean, if you can't speak the same language, as long as you can say the name of the city, then they're going to probably know. They're going to either say yes or no that this is where you are. So, number 11, some trains are hot. The AC is, I don't know if it like doesn't work well. I don't know if they just like don't want to use it or like if it's just like very minimum, but some train rides are hot and some are quite chilly. So layers is the key to train rides. Layers because you might need a sweater because it's cold. And some of the trains have like these like Velcro straps where like I guess like pillows used to like stay attached that they've taken off. So if you're a woman or a man with long hair and you put your hair back, the Velcro pulls your hair and it is super uncomfortable. So put your sweatshirt behind your hair so that it doesn't get pulled out and tugged and you have crazy hair. Or have your layers so that when you're hot and you're cold, you can dress accordingly that is comfortable, because you're not going to know if it's going to be a cold or a hot train until you get on, and it's going to be miserable if you haven't dressed accordingly. So do layers. Number 12, and we are almost through. Bathrooms. Okay. In our experience, they're not the cleanest. And it's not that they're not well maintained. That's not what I'm saying. They are well maintained, and I've seen multiple people in multiple countries go through and try to like maintenance it. But the issue is when you flush the toilets. When you flush the toilets on the train, like the water just kind of like sprays out. And when it sprays out, it's getting all over the toilet seat and it's getting all over the floor. So when you walk into the toilet, it's like the bathrooms, the restrooms, whatever we're calling it. It's usually like a very, very, very wet floor and you're stepping in it. So like sometimes I even roll up the bottoms of my pants legs in the kids so that we're not walking in this questionable substance on the floor. And then the toilet seats are usually soaked. You have men going in there and the train's moving and they're trying to do their business and it's just going everywhere. You've got the water spraying up when they're flushing the toilets. And so sometimes you don't know what the wetness is on the floor and on the toilet seats. I hope it's water, but I don't know. So, and usually the toilet paper's wet. And I don't know why, I don't know how, but it's wet. So either bring toilet covers if you have them, bring a pack of Clorox wipes, bring your own pack of wet wipes or dry wipes into the toilet, and just know, like, roll up your pants legs if you need to. Sometimes they stink. Sometimes they have a really bad smell. So if you're sitting near the toilet, we have sometimes been able to smell the toilet the entire train ride. And sometimes we're far enough away and there's like no smell and it hasn't been an issue. But keeping that in mind, I think they're well maintained. I just think it's the whole like using the toilet on the train. It just kind of like does that during the flushing process. So maybe just like roll your kids' pants legs up, hold them in the air if you need to. And it's not a fun experience. Like if you do not have to, do not use the toilet on the train. That is my motto. Do not use the toilet on the train if you don't have to. If you have a toddler, maybe just stick them in a pull-up. Just because it's not worth it. It's not. Don't do it, mama. Oh, the last one was really bad, guys, like really bad. Even my husband was like, look, I'd rather just the kids have an accident, which obviously we weren't going to do that. But he was like, that's how bad it was. Obviously, we did not let our kids have an accident. We would not do that. But he was just trying to like exaggerate. Like that's really how kind of like grody the bathrooms were. So the last one, number 13. Is you're going to have multiple different types of trains. You're going to have high speed, you're going to have leisure, and depending on the countries, I think they have like different ones for different things. But you have very difference in the time that it's going to take and the type of train ride. I'm going to opt usually for all high speed trains, and I think you should too, unless you're like doing this like leisurely fun thing. But like when I'm visiting another country, I'm not really like wanting to spend my whole time on just getting there and getting back. I kind of want to like get there as quick as we can and as quick as we can back and have the most amount of time in the place that we're visiting. So I opt for high speed trains. And if you ask most locals, they're probably going to tell you the same thing. They're going to tell you get the high speed train. Don't do the leisure trains unless you're doing something unique and different, and that's what floats your boat. Then go for it. But most of the time, when you have kids, you really want the high speed train with little ones and kids because they want to get off the train too. Like they've reached max capacity. So just keeping that in mind. So here are my 13 tips for traveling a train through Europe with kids in tow. If you have a little bit of older kids, then they're probably going to be fine on the train, but it's just the little ones. You got to keep them kind of busy and active, and no one wants to sit on a train for several hours. So I hope these help. If you are going on a trip soon, please drop it into the comment section that tells me what country you're traveling to by train. And are you taking a high-speed train? Are you taking a leisure train? Are you going an overnight train? Let me know. You can also look at Rail Ninja for your train tickets, and they have an app you can download as well. And we did that for our last train. So other than that, like in Italy, we booked directly through like Trentalia. I know I'm saying this wrong, but you can book directly as well. So if you enjoy travel, if you enjoy tips and tricks, if you enjoy an expat family who sold everything and wildly moved to Europe and opened a business, then you're in the right place. Hit the like and subscribe button and follow along with our channel and send it to your friends and family and say, look at these crazy people. So until next time, bye.